Hi everyone, and welcome back to My Lilac Hill. Brittney here. I am just going to do a quick voiceover for this video because I was really just piecing together footage from the last year, and it was hard enough to get it to all go together and make sense. So I just muted all of the footage and we'll do this voiceover. But what you're watching is the progression of all of the work that my husband and I and his family have put into our house over the last year. We started working on this in January of 2023, and it is now January of 2024. Kyle and his family had worked on other areas of the house for many years leading up to this. But when we got engaged last January, we really started pushing to get everything ready to move in. And so that's what you're seeing now. We did get married in October of 2023. And so we've lived here for a few months, and you'll see kind of some of that in this video as well. But this is actually our bedroom, and it's the first room we really started working on. And we're just stripping the wallpaper and getting these old lath and plaster walls really fixed up, all the cracks, and the lath and plaster just kind of breaks down over time. So just really repairing the walls. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. It took all of us doing it. It was me, Kyle, Kyle's parents, all of Kyle's siblings and their husbands. I mean, there's been so many people working on this house, and we couldn't have gotten it done without every single person helping. So we're super thankful for that, and just to have them, helping us. And it's just such a blessing to have that big of a family that is willing to jump in and help when needed. Part of the reason that we were really pushing to get this done is because nobody was living in this house when we started working on it last January, and we really wanted most of it done when we got married and moved in because, well, it's a lot more difficult when you're living in a space to be able to do these kinds of projects. So we really wanted to get as much done as we could. And there was a lot to do. There still is a lot to do. But as you'll see through this video, we got a ton of work done on this house over the last year. And the stuff that's left is mostly outdoor and property type stuff, and then just a few little finishing touches in the house. So it really came together quite nicely. And my favorite room is, of course, our bedroom and the master bathroom, which you'll see here pretty quickly. They turned out so well. It was something that I actually took a little bit of inspiration from Farmhouse on Boone, and then also this Highland cow photo. And Farmhouse on Boone has a bathroom that has a somewhat similar aesthetic to this. And so that was the inspiration I took, and then I just put our own personal touches on it. And this color green is my favorite color of green. And so I was really happy that we were able to utilize it in our bedroom and the bathroom. I'm also so thankful that Kyle and his dad are so handy because I just don't have the skill set to do all of this. Now, I helped a lot with peeling wallpaper off and using mud on the walls and, fixing some corners and some cracks and things like that. And I did do some painting and some, I did a lot of the cleanup. I'm really good at cleaning, so I had that part in the bag. But as far as like putting all this trim work up and measuring precisely and getting things level and square, and no, I don't have that capability. So I was so glad that Kyle and his dad did, especially for this wall, which is more of an S shape. I give Kyle total credit on that wall and making that trim look smooth and cohesive there. One of the things that we were really trying to do is keep our design choices in line with the style that was around when this house was built. This house was built in 1902. It's been in his family ever since it was built. the only people that have ever lived in this home are Grumkeys. That's our last name. And so we really wanted to honor all of the hard work that the previous generations did. And also we both really like vintage and antique. And so we really wanted to just showcase this house. And it's not a modern house, so we didn't want to decorate it with modern touches. Now, we did do a couple of modern things, but for the most part, we tried to stay as close to the decorating style for that time period. And this is how the bedroom turned out. I am beyond thrilled with this room. It is just such a nice, peaceful place to come to at the end of a long day, and I couldn't be happier with it. Now is the bathroom. We actually did not have a bathroom upstairs, but we wanted a second bathroom. We only have the one bathroom downstairs to start with. So Kyle and his dad designed a way of having a bathroom upstairs, and it basically cut into one of the bedrooms, which would become Miles's bedroom. They were massive bedrooms, so he still has a lot of space in his room, but we were able to put in a bathroom. And so this is what you're seeing here. They cut a hole in the floor in order to be able to run all of the piping from the main level of the house. That way all of the plumbing could be in the bathroom area. And they had taken out the closet that was in Miles's room, and they started to kind of frame in where the bathroom would be. We also had a chimney that had to be taken out. It was kind of falling apart. It's kind of what you see here. So we took the chimney out, added a little bit of space there. So there used to be 2 chimneys on the top of the house, on the roof. Now there's only the one. We do eventually plan to take the other one down as well. But now they're framing in the bathroom and also framed in a closet so that Miles could have a closet on the other side. And so you're seeing all of that now. We do have videos on most of this process already on the playlist that I will link at the end of this video. So if you want to see more in detail of what they're doing and kind of hear step by step, definitely check out these videos. But this video is just kind of an overview. And as I was putting all this footage together and editing it, I was just reminded of how much work we've put into this house and kind of blown away that we were able to get that done in about 9 months' time. We really worked hard and we really pushed to get all of this done, and Kyle and I are both very happy with how everything turned out. And so now you can kind of see we've done the drywall. You can see Miles's closet and how we closed off the back side of the bathroom for his room. And I can tell you one thing, we did also have to cut a hole. That's what Kyle's talking about when he was filming this originally. But he had to cut a hole in order to go into Miles's room because the original entrance to Miles's room is now the entrance to the bathroom. So they cut the hole in the hallway there. And we actually salvaged some trim and a door from a house down the street that no one is living in and will never live in. It's basically falling down. But they allowed us to salvage some of the wood, and it matches ours almost identically. So it worked out really well. But this has just been such an amazing process to see. And I had never really done anything with like drywall or sheetrock or lath and plaster or any of that. So it was really fun for me to be able to learn some of those new skills. And I was actually really surprised at how much space we have in this bathroom. When Kyle and his dad were first kind of putting together a plan in order to add a bathroom, Kyle was telling me, it's going to be pretty small. It's going to be pretty tight. We're just kind of working with the space that we have. But honestly, it doesn't feel small. It doesn't feel tight at all. And you'll see once we get towards the end of the work on the bathroom, I mean, there's plenty of space. Kyle's dad built us a vanity, so we have a pretty big vanity. And between the vanity and the shower, there's plenty of room to stand there and get ready, get dressed, dry off, do whatever you need to do. And where the toilet is, I mean, there's plenty of space. So I think we were all kind of shocked at how big it actually feels. And now we're getting to the part of the bathroom where I can really start to see things come together. When it was just a framed in space, I just couldn't see it. But as soon as we got the drywall up, and especially when they started painting a little bit, I could really see my vision coming together. And I was so happy with how it was turning out. Kyle did a really good job of putting an extra thick moisture barrier, so hopefully we don't ever have any issues like that. They did a really good job of getting the plumbing to work out. In old houses, I mean, old houses like this just weren't built with plumbing in mind because they didn't have indoor plumbing in this area at that time. People in the city did, but, out here in the country, they were 15, 20, even 30 years behind them. So they just did not have that when this house was built. And so Kyle and his dad did have to get a little bit creative in order to make it work, but they did a great job. And I'm so happy that we were able to get that to work because having 2 bathrooms, especially when you have kids, is just really convenient. And this is when the tile is starting to go up, and I pretty much picked out everything that went in the bathroom and how our bedroom was decorated. Kyle told me, it's your vision, do what you want to do, we're going to do it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think he thought it was going to look very good when I was telling him everything that I wanted. But he did tell me when it all came together, he is really happy with how it looks. And he trusts me a little bit more with designing. But when I was telling him everything that I wanted, I think he thought it was going to look like a jumbled, chaotic mess. But I'm very pleased with how it looks. And I don't personally think it looks jumbled or chaotic. I think it looks very classy and elegant and timeless. And I think it fits this house perfectly. One of the things I wanted to do is to bring in the same wall treatment that we did in our master bedroom, because this is not technically a master suite. The bathroom's not in the bedroom area, but it's right next door. And with this old house, it's as close as it's going to get. So I wanted it to really feel like a master suite and to all be cohesive. And I'm so happy that we did it that way, because when you come up the stairs, now that it's all done, I mean, it just looks so good. I am so glad that the former generations of Grumpke that lived in this home took such good care of this home. I never got to meet Kyle's grandmother, but the stories I hear, she and I kind of keep our house on a similar level. She did some things differently, but we like things kept very clean, and we like to take really good care of everything. And I can tell that she did that because the woodwork and the trim and the flooring, everything is just in such good shape. I'm so happy that the generations before us took such good care of this home so that we could have it to raise our family in. And it's just such a beautiful home. They don't make houses like this anymore with this much character. And I'm so blessed to be able to live in my dream home. I've been dreaming of a 2-story white farmhouse for my whole life, and I finally get to live in that, and I just feel so blessed. And I know that Kyle and I will do our very best to take extremely good care of this home and to continue to fix it up and treat it as it deserves. Now, this is that vanity that Kyle's dad was building for us. I told him I wanted some cubbies for storage and I wanted doors underneath the sink in order to be able to store some cleaning products and things like that. And boy, did he deliver. And I just think as it's all kind of put together, it just looks so, so good. And with a nice soft linen shower curtain and a Persian type rug, I think it brings it all together. All of the Carrara marble in the shower, on the floor, for the tiles on the floor. The sink top is Carrara marble. The mirror is an old mirror that I had that I refinished to match the space. And I really just think it all came together, and it's just my favorite space in the house. I think it looks so good. Also really love my Highland cow. This is really the picture that was the inspiration for this space, in addition to Farmhouse on Boone's bathroom. I'll link her video below so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But the Highland cow photo, just cherry on top. And now we're into Miles's room. Again, we had to cut that door in the hallway in order for him to have an access point to his room. That room there is just storage for the time being. If we're fortunate enough to have daughters at some point, that will be the girls' room, and where Miles is where any future boys that we have would join him in there. But we added that entrance into Miles's room, and you can kind of see all the trim work and everything just kind of hanging out here. The upstairs hall was a disaster of a construction zone for a very long time, but it's so worth it. And I love how our bedroom and bathroom turned out, but honestly, Miles's room turned out really good too. You'll see where it started. It was a little bit of a rough start with all the layers of wallpaper that we had to scrape off, but it really did come together well too. And to be perfectly honest, he's the only one that has all three views. He has a window on each wall in his room, and he gets to see out the front, out the back, and out the side of the house. So he has the best views in the house for sure. For Miles's wall color, we actually used the same wall color that we used in our bedroom and the bathroom on the top portion of the wall. And it's just a very neutral, I forget what it's called, but it's like a linen color. It's not white, it's not yellow by any means, but it's kind of somewhere in between. And it's just very soft and neutral. And at some point, when he gets a little bit older and he knows how he wants to decorate his room, we'll decorate it a little differently. But being that he may end up having future siblings, we just kind of wanted it to be a neutral space. And you'll see he's got some personality in his dresser and his bed and some of the other furniture that we added to his room. So you'll see that here soon. And while we were working on Miles's room, we also tackled the hallway. Kyle's mom did such a good job on these floors. She worked really hard at kind of sanding them down and getting them ready for a new coat of polyurethane. And she did so good. Here's the lower level of the hallway. And as you see, we'll go up the stairs and into the hallway upstairs. And the work that was done in there was just done so well. Kyle's sisters actually helped a lot on the walls in the hallway and in the stairwell a couple years ago before I even knew them. But they did a great job because it is really hard to make the walls look smooth when you have to use that much mud to fix cracks and things like that. But they did a great job. And here's the upstairs. You can see how beautiful the floors are after Kyle's mom put that new coat of polyurethane. And now we're in Miles's room and it's all decorated. This is the Hot Wheels thing that my brother got him. He loves it. He plays with it all the time. And he's a little afraid of it at night, so we had to point it away from his bed because he doesn't like the volcano eyes, which, he's 4, so it's fine. But here's his room. And that bookcase right there, the mobile gas bookcase, my dad actually built when I was pregnant with Miles. I wanted a vintage gas pump, but I couldn't afford them. They are extremely expensive. So my dad built me one, and he built it with storage in mind. So that was great. And now we're heading downstairs. We finally got the upstairs portion done, at least what we're doing now. The 3rd bedroom up there has not even been touched, but that's okay because we don't need it right now. But we're downstairs working on the sun porch, and I am really happy with how this room turned out. It's one of the rooms that's not completely done. We still have to rip out the carpet in there, and we have plans of extending the tile flooring that's in the downstairs bathroom, which you'll see kind of glimpses of it in this next part. But we're going to extend that out into that area so it's kind of all cohesive. And we still need like window treatments and everything, but really, really happy with the blue color that we chose in here. When the light comes through all of those windows, it's just such a happy room to be in. And it's Miles's playroom, so really it should be happy and bright and colorful. And so you'll see that here in just a couple minutes. And so here it is. I forget exactly the name of the paint. I can look it up. We do have record of it. But I think it's Denim Jacket by Bear. And right now we just have a quilt that a friend of ours made for us for a wedding gift. We have that hanging. And the only reason it's even hanging up is because the glare coming in the window really affects my Peloton screen when I'm working out. And so I put it behind me so that I can see my screen. But we are planning on getting some window treatments. I just haven't decided really what I want. And I'm thinking I'm going to end up having to make the curtains because I haven't found anything that I like that's pre-made. But now we're moving into another portion of the downstairs, the kitchen and dining. And we didn't do just a whole lot of work, did a lot of cleaning. Again, nobody lived in this house for several years after his grandparents died and before Kyle and I got married. and moved into it. And so, it's really hard on a house when you're not living in it. It's actually harder on a house being empty than it is being full of kids. And so we did a lot of cleaning and living on gravel, and this house didn't have air conditioning, so the windows were open a lot. It was very dirty, but we got everything cleaned up, and I can't tell you how happy I am to be living in this house. It is, again, it's my dream, and I'm so happy to be the one that gets to take care of it. But as you can see on the stairs here, it was very dirty and there was a lot of cleaning to do. And on the main floor, that's pretty much what we had to do. Now, we did do a little bit of work in the mudroom and the office. And of course, we painted the sunroom. But there wasn't a whole lot else to do in the main floor. Kyle had pretty much already gotten that done before he met me. His grandparents had carpet throughout the whole house, including all the way up the stairs. And I wish I had pictures of that to show you. But he ripped out all the carpet and refinished all the flooring in the house. And I think it looks really, really good. And this is my favorite door. It's the original glass in the house. And I just think it's a beautiful door. And I pray to God it never gets broken because it is so stunning. And it's one of my favorite pieces of the house. And this is the living room. As I mentioned, we took the chimney out upstairs. The chimney that has the heater in the living room is that same chimney. We didn't have time to take down the lower portion of it, but at some point we do have to take that out. That chimney is non-functional and it really just juts out into the room and takes up unnecessary space. But that's a project for another year. We, after all the work we put into this house, really, really need a break for a couple of years. So at some point, we will work on that, but it's not time sensitive right now. And eventually, it'll make it a little bit nicer in the living room because we'll be able to use that whole wall and kind of make the piano a little bit more centered in the room. And that way, the piano doesn't block that second entrance as much. But it is completely functional as a living room for right now, and we are happy to have it. And this is the mud room, and really, I wouldn't have painted over the wood paneling in here, except for the fact that because the sun comes in so harsh in this room, it had really faded it, and you could see where pictures had been hung, and it was just really faded. And so I decided, well, it is a little bit dark with it being wood paneling. Let's paint it. And so we painted it the same yellow that's in the hallway. And that way we're not having just so many different colors throughout the house. But I like color. And I lived in a house that every single wall was gray and every piece of trim was white. And I don't ever want to live in that again. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's what you enjoy. But I personally don't enjoy that. I like color. I like wood tones. I like texture and dimension in a home, especially a home like this. So we added a little bit of color in here, and in this lighting it's dark so you can't really see very well, but in the next screen or the next shot you'll be able to see it during daylight, and it looks a lot better in the daylight. But that yellow really does help to brighten up that space. And then the office. The office was a room that I worked on while Kyle was out of town, and I did it as a surprise for him for his birthday. He had no idea I was going to do this. I kind of worked with his mom and dad in order to get it done. His mom and dad moved all the furniture that was being stored in there to the middle of the room so that I had access to 3 walls. And I went in there on one weekend and I ripped out all the wallpaper. I fixed the walls with mudding, and I got it painted, and I did all of that by myself. And it was like the one week this summer that it was above 100 degrees every single day with like heat indexes of 115. And I was in a house that had no air conditioning, so it was very hot. It was actually cooler outside than it was inside. but it was worth it. He really liked it. I painted it the color that he had talked about wanting it to be. He wanted kind of a dark and moody office. And so I just got that work done for him so that he didn't have to do it. And I was really happy that he liked how it turned out, because I would have felt really bad if he didn't. But here you can kind of see I was stripping the walls, and that was a lot more labor intensive than I really thought it would be. I think I got myself in over my head trying to do this by myself, but I got it done, so I guess it's okay. Now we still have the third wall in there. We still haven't done, so there is still work to do in the office. But like I said, we needed a break, so we'll get there at some point. I'm not in a big rush to do it. But here in just a couple of clips, you'll be able to see it without all that furniture that was being stored in there. And Kyle's mom actually helped. She ripped out the carpet after the furniture was moved. And so you can actually see the hardwood floors underneath of it. And they have not been refinished or restained or any of that yet. Again, we were tired and needed a break after the wedding, so we have not gotten that part done. But the floors are beautiful. And I think this kind of dark, moody green, I think it's called Alpine Trail. I do remember this paint color. It's Alpine Trail, and again, it's by Bayer. And that green contrasting with the darker wood floors, I think it looks really good. If you're not into dark colors or moody type rooms, you probably won't like it, but it's definitely dark and moody, and it's a very functional space. It was really intended to be just Kyle's office, but with me being full-time, stay-at-home, and I'm self-employed. I run my businesses out of the house. I have 2 small businesses, and I stay at home and I homeschool Miles. So I needed a space to have a desk as well. So we share it at the time being, but eventually Kyle will have his own office and I will have my own space. But it works for right now, and I'm really pleased with how it's starting to come together. I have a lot more work left to do. Like I said, that third wall still isn't done, and the flooring isn't done either. But we'll get there. And now we're down in the cellar. We've done next to nothing in the cellar. Still some work needing done. I need my canning shelves built at some point, and this will be where we store all of our preserved food. And of course, it's the utility room. I mean, that's what most basements or cellars are. However, the one big project that we did do, and I shouldn't even say we on this one. I did not help at all on this one. Kyle's dad was really the mastermind behind it, and Kyle and his mom both helped with some of the labor. But these steps were so dangerous and crumbling apart. And so Kyle's dad ripped them out and put some new ones in. And now you can walk downstairs without feeling like you're taking your life into your own hands. So it's very nice to have these steps done. And you can kind of see here, got a whole new set of steps. There's still more work to do, but I hope you enjoyed that tour, and I hope you like our home as much as we do. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.